If you've played any Kingdom Hearts game from Kingdom Hearts 2 onwards, then you'll know all about Xehanort. He's essentially the big bad of the entire series until his saga concludes in Kingdom Hearts 3. However, while his saga does come to a close, somewhat, he does not in the slightest bit get what he has had coming. In fact, he gets about the furthest thing away from what he deserves. If you've beaten Kingdom Hearts 3, then you already know what I'm getting at, but if you haven't or are just looking to hear me out, then allow me to explain what I'm on about. And of course, if it wasn't obvious, spoilers for pretty much everything in the entire series lie ahead. Every single event in the Kingdom Hearts series, without getting into Kingdom Hearts Key or Union Cross, can be traced back to one singular entity, Xehanort. See, Xehanort is the one that creates every single problem and in turn creates almost every single antagonist in the series. He is the sole driving factor behind everything that happens and thus is responsible for numerous heinous acts, yet essentially faces zero repercussions for any of his actions. The only way I can think to get my point across in the most accurate fashion is to list off every single atrocity and general messed up thing that Xehanort has done throughout the series leading up to his downfall in Kingdom Hearts 3. Xehanort caused the Destiny Islands to fall to darkness, starting off the chain reaction of events that Sora and his company go through for the rest of the series. He indirectly caused Sora to basically kill himself in order to free Kairi's heart, creating Roxas and Naminé as a side effect, then tries to completely rewrite his and Riku's memories in Castle Oblivion by manipulating Naminé, alongside trying and almost succeeding in using Sora as his 13th vessel in Dream Drop Distance. Riku was possessed by Xehanort's Heartless, Ansem Seeker of Darkness, then plagued to battle the darkness within him for the rest of the series until he overcomes it in Dream Drop Distance. He was also, of course, manipulated to be basically the main antagonist of Kingdom Hearts 1 while under the possession of Ansem Seeker of Darkness. He is also cloned and essentially has to kill his cloned self in Chain of Memories. Ventus had his heart ripped in two, causing enough damage to put him into a comatose state which required Sora's help in order for him to heal, which also caused him to forget his past and in turn be traumatized anytime he began to remember it. He was then forced to reunite and battle with Vanitas, the pure darkness of his heart made human, so that they could fight and essentially die in order to become a tool for Master Xehanort, known as the Keyblade, only then to have him put back into another coma for another 10 or so years. Aqua had her closest friends driven away from her, and when she finally found them again, they both essentially were murdered while she threw herself into the realm of darkness in order to attempt to, but ultimately fail, to save Terra. She remained in the realm of darkness for over a decade, literally living through hell alone, until she finally gave up and succumbed to the darkness. Though not her intention, it is basically her fault in saving Terra Xehanort that Master Xehanort was able to continue his plans for the next 12 years, since she stopped him from falling into the realm of darkness at the end of Birth by Sleep. Terra, similar to Riku, was lured into using the darkness until it consumed him, distanced from his closest friends and family, basically had him kill his former master, Ericus, who Xehanort then killed himself, then had his body and heart stolen, leaving his soul stuck in a suit of his armor while his body was used by Master Xehanort throughout the entirety of the Kingdom Hearts series, which then went on to create Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. Ansem was the main antagonist for Kingdom Hearts 1. He is the Heartless that was created from Terra Xehanort, then simply known as Xehanort, while studying as an apprentice to Ansem the Wise. Ansem would then go on to possess Riku, awaken Kingdom Hearts, travel back to young Xehanort and commence Master Xehanort's plan, and generally terrorize the heroes for the rest of the series, specifically Riku. Xemnas, the nobody created from when Terra Xehanort separated his heart from his body, would go on to create the original Organization 13 as a front for Xehanort's real plan of putting a piece of his heart into all Organization 13 members. In doing this, he lied to every member, making them believe they had no heart or soul, had Xion created only to constantly torment her, planning to use her as a backup vessel until she fought Roxas to the death, only to be forgotten by everyone that she knew. He also held Naminé as a prisoner for years, not even allowing her to leave her room. He of course also tormented her mentally and used her to rewrite Sora and Riku's memories in Castle Oblivion. He also had Axel assassinate the remaining members of the organization within Castle Oblivion. Additionally, he kidnaps Kairi multiple times during Kingdom Hearts 2 and during the final battle in Kingdom Hearts 3. Kairi, on top of being kidnapped, is separated from her best friends multiple times throughout multiple games until she is finally murdered in cold blood in front of every one of her friends by Master Xehanort at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. He does this simply so that Sora could feel the pain necessary to fulfill his own plans, with no remorse for what he is doing. Roxas was taken into the organization when he first became a nobody, essentially being brainwashed and manipulated and then forced to kill his own best friend before forgetting she ever existed. He is also put into a virtual world by Diz where he loses all of his memories, later having to fight his other former best friend Axel until eventually fighting with Sora directly before being reunited with him. Ansem the Wise helped Terra Xehanort after his fight with Aqua, only to eventually be betrayed by his apprentices, who banished him to the realm of darkness where he wandered for years, slowly losing his sanity and becoming the vengeful being known as Diz, who would go on to torment Roxas and Riku before finally atoning and dying in Kingdom Hearts 2. Finally, to top it all off, Master Xehanort does in fact succeed at killing every single one of the main cast during the final showdown at the Keyblade Graveyard, namely Sora, Riku, Kairi, Donald, Goofy, Mickey, Lee, Aqua, and Ventus before they are brought back by Sora using the power of waking. Now, while this is definitely not a complete list of everything that the old Coot has done throughout the series, I think that it's more than enough to get the point across that I'm trying to make. So, let's just take a second to talk about what kind of consequences Xehanort faces for his actions. Are you comfortable? You ready to hear what kind of sweet repercussions the big bad man himself has to face? Absolutely nothing! In fact, if anything, he gets negative repercussions because what actually happens is that he is reunited with his only real friend in the world, Master Ericus, who, surprise, didn't actually die, haha. And they both say cheeky shit to each other before turning into kids again and floating off to heaven. I'm literally not even kidding in the slightest, this is actually exactly what happens. And guess what? To top it all off, it actually gets worse. They actually try to play the "oh no, you don't understand, I'm not evil, I'm just misunderstood. I was actually trying to save the world all along by starting a Keyblade War so that the worlds could be reborn in light, and someone has to rule over them, so of course I'm the only one that could do it, because reasons. I promise it was never about becoming a Sith Lord and living forever through the use of my 13 Horcruxes." And that's not all, it keeps going. Every single one of the Guardians of Light, including Terra, whose body was forcefully stolen and used for a decade, as well as Aqua, who was trapped in the equivalent of hell while her sanity slipped away for the same amount of time, and don't forget Ventus, the boy whose heart was literally ripped in half, only to have to battle his own darkness, resulting in his body getting taken over, followed by a 12-year coma, and let's not forget Sora, who just watched basically his love interest get exploded into a million pieces in front of him. And let's not forget about Riku, the boy that was possessed for however the fuck long by Ansem, are all just standing around like, "oh man, he was just a dick because he was trying to help all along. Wow, that's crazy, let's forgive him." Yeah, how about fucking no? And this is the fundamental problem that absolutely ruins the entire Xehanort saga. It doesn't conclude. Nothing about Kingdom Hearts 3's ending really wraps anything up. Essentially, all that happens is everyone from Time Travel Land dies and goes back to either being human or to their timeline, while Xehanort gets forgiven because, oh, he was trying to do a good thing, therefore let's forget about the billions of horrible things he did because Luke Skywalker, Drake Bell, wants to play more chess with him. And let me just say, I'm not exactly one for advocating revenge, but I think I speak for everyone when I say that Xehanort had some shit coming for all that he's done. Even if it was all for the good of the world and wanting to save the light or whatever, the lengths at which he went to achieve his goal, however noble they may be, should not be excusable simply by handing the Keyblade over to Sora and saying that you're ready to die with your best friend. What also baffles me is the part towards the end of the game whenever Goofy mentions that Xehanort uses time travel and that they could use that to finish him. Personally, I was expecting some kind of Final Fantasy VIII-esque time loop shenanigans where we would trap him in an alternate timeline within some sort of time loop that he would not be able to escape from, or simply just placing him within a controlled pocket of time, perhaps an alternate timeline world type thing of Destiny Islands, where he has no chance of escaping and is free to live out his numbered days on his home island without being able to hurt anything anymore. It just feels like there are so many ways that we could have given Xehanort what he deserved without even having to resort to some crazy revenge-fueled death. It feels like it was either an afterthought that they said, oh shit, what about the end of the game, and then decided to just do the I was good all along, or that Disney really has so much control that they wouldn't allow anything less than atonement. Regardless of the reasoning behind the lackluster end of Master Xehanort, I just can't get over the fact that the driving force behind everything bad that happens throughout 7 games in a series gets what could easily be considered a happily ever after ending. Honestly, the worst part about Xehanort is the fact that you can tell that they clearly retconned the events of every game before Kingdom Hearts 3 once the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3 actually came around. A good example of this would be to watch the scene where Xehanort separates the darkness from Ventus to create Vanitas, and just pay attention to Xehanort's actions.
Really? You would rather die than use the power? Feckless neophyte.
If your ultimate goal was actually to be doing a good thing and saving the world by recreating it in light, do you think you'd be screaming to the sky, "Make your master the Keyblade!" and stuff like that, while you send this essentially helpless child to get murdered by Heartless? And then when he obviously fails to do so, would you really go, "Feckless neophyte," and then put your foot on him and push him over into the dirt? Again, the point isn't even that he acts evil, it's the fact that if you were really doing a good thing all along and nobody was around to see you, such as when he's creating Vanitas, it's just him alone in the Badlands, why would he still be acting like such an evil dickhead? But I can do you one better if you're still doubting. Let's take a look at the secret movie from the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, where we were first introduced to Birth by Sleep via the incredible CGI cutscene. So, if we take a look at this, you'll see how the entire fight Xehanort basically smiles while he does things such as grab Ventus by the head and then freeze him while crushing his skull and then drop him off a cliff where he tumbles down, hitting his head and various other parts multiple times. And then when Aqua holds him in her arms, he again does his evil smirk while summoning Kingdom Hearts. And all this is after the events of Birth by Sleep, by the way. This is at the end of the game, and Birth by Sleep is the game where you just play as 3 people who are constantly tormented by Xehanort the entire game. Doesn't really seem like something a good guy would do, if you ask me, but maybe that's just me. And another thing I've read in some of the YouTube comments on videos of Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff is, well, he's not really evil or good, he's kind of a neutral person, and really he's just motivated by curiosity. And you see, I would actually agree with this up until Kingdom Hearts 3. Perhaps maybe even Dream Drop Distance, since that's where all the retcons started happening, but we won't worry about that right now. So the reasoning behind this, saying that he was just curious, is because the whole time he really just wants to start another Keyblade war and wants to forge the Keyblade in order to see what really will happen, because he spent all of this time researching the Keyblade War and all of the events of the past, and he thinks some grand event will happen by him doing this. So really the whole time he's just motivated by curiosity, and to do the things he wants to do, he just says screw it and uses the darkness, because guess what? It works better than using the light. But like everything I've said in this video so far, they ruin it in Kingdom Hearts 3, because guess what? They say his ultimate goal was to be a good guy this whole time. But that doesn't work out with the events of all the games leading up to it, because it was all either straight evil or motivated by curiosity the entire game. It doesn't work when at the end you say, oh, I was doing it all for the good of everyone, when you haven't shown that the entire game. The only time Xehanort has not been like a complete douchebag was when Terra was already manipulated by him. He was kind of nice to him during that. And then the one time in Kingdom Hearts 3 where he loses to Ericus in a chess game. He kind of actually took that pretty well. I don't know what's up with that, but I guess that was their way of getting you ready for him losing everything in Kingdom Hearts 3 pretty well, considering he's been working some 15 or so years with like 9 different plans that all got ruined, because that's his personality according to the 2 cutscenes in the game, but I digress. I don't know, maybe I'm too caught up in a game where you basically play as a weeb and as 2 talking animals that go through Disney worlds trying to stop some time-traveling asshole. But I feel like there's just so many things that could have happened to make it an amazing end to what is actually a really good story that is told rather poorly throughout many, many, many instances, that the way they handled it just disappoints me so much. Regardless, that's pretty much all I had to say about the subject. I'd really, really, really like to hear your thoughts on the matter. So please do leave comments down below, and do not fret, I will probably be making plenty more Kingdom Hearts stuff because it is definitely on my brain at the moment. But other than all of that, please let me know what else you'd like to see. Again, it doesn't matter what game or series or anything it's from, I will be glad to listen to any and all suggestions, because I just really like talking about stories and stuff of the sort. Also, I don't think I've mentioned it on this channel before yet, but feel free to go over to twitch.tv/Naniko to watch me live stream. I'm live at least a couple times every week for the most part, and I play pretty much everything, so it should be a good time. But without further ado, that is the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought about everything down below, and I hope to see you all in the next one. So until then, have a good one, and catch you later.